So our first talking point tonight, facts concealed or internal AIIMS politics at play. Is this really a new twist in Sunanda Tharoor's death? And join me tonight to answer that big question, people who have tracked the story from the beginning very, very closely. Siddharth Mishra, he's a close friend, associate of Dr. Sudhir Gupta. Dr. Sudhir Gupta has chosen not to appear on this program because he says that he's fighting a case in the Central Administrative Tribunal. Mr. Mishra today is going to be representing him. Also, Sudhanshu Mittal of the BJP. The BJP has been making political noises on this one. Here in our studios also with us, Nalini Singh, someone who was described by Sunanda Tharoor as one of her best friends, possibly one of her oldest friends, only friends. Meher Tarar, someone who has known Shashi Tharoor well, supposed to be a friend of Shashi Tharoor, is joining us live on the phone line from Lahore. And Suhail Seth is joining us live as well. Welcome to all of you on the program. Siddharth Mishra, let me first begin with you. Let me just ask you this question very directly. What really is going on here? I was just looking at the dates in the timeline, sir. Your friend Dr. Sudhir Gupta gives an autopsy report in the month of January 2014. He starts complaining about being targeted in the month of May 2014. Now, am I to understand that in this interim period from January 2014 to May 2014, Sudhir Gupta was perfectly at ease with All India Institute of Medical Sciences. There was no pressure on him. He was free to discharge his responsibilities. The moment he realizes that he has been superseded, is that the point when he starts thinking that, oh, I have to do something to look after my own interests?
You see, you have to find out why he is being superseded. You mentioned about the last autopsy report which he had given. After that autopsy report, if you can recall, there was a report on the viscera which came from the Central Forensic Lab. In light of that viscera report, Dr. Sudhir Gupta was asked to revise his opinion, which he had given earlier.
Right.
And it is in context of this report, that revised report which he has been asked to submit, which he has not submitted till date, that he has been asked to revise his opinion and say that it's a case of natural death and not unnatural death. What Dr. Sudhir Gupta has done in this case, that he has asked for details of the conclusions, how they have reached the conclusion that there was no poison in her body.
Right.
This is what he has asked from forensic lab. The forensic lab has not provided him with that information, which has to be routed through the AIIMS management.
No, but I'm sorry, I remember quite clearly when this incident had happened, and I remember speaking to Dr. Gupta myself because I was reporting on this story. And when we'd asked this question very specifically to Dr. Gupta, he said that this is a death which was an unnatural death. It was a death which had happened due to poisoning. Now, am I to understand that Dr. Gupta had come to this conclusion of an unnatural death which had possibly taken place due to poisoning without being absolutely clear of his facts? I mean, surely he must have done a thorough job before he came to that conclusion.
You see, Dr. Gupta reached a conclusion that was unnatural death.
Yes. And so what is he asking for from the laboratory then later on?
That's my point. Now, there is a process in law that in case of poisoning, the viscera in the body has to be examined by the forensic lab.
Okay.
Which goes to the forensic lab, and forensic lab says that no, it was not because of poisoning.
Right.
Now, they must be having a basis for saying that it was not because of poisoning. Now, Dr. Gupta is being asked to revise his opinion in light of this report, which has come from the forensic lab.
So it's not as if that this is anything to do with the fact that Dr. Gupta has been superseded by someone else, and therefore he's using these two instances only and only to bolster his case.
Supersession is linked.
It is linked.
Yeah, it is linked. You see, Dr. Gupta, who has been in AIIMS for 20 years, in this 20 years he has faced 5 promotion boards and cleared all promotion boards with flying colors.
Right.
And he has handled all the infamous cases of this country. His opinion has been appreciated by courts across the world, not just across the country.
Right.
And jurists as eminent as P.N. Bhagwati and Soli Sorabji have written personal letters of appreciation to him. Suddenly, he is found to be, you rake up an old controversy when he is not falling in line. And he is not ready to revise his report just on the basis of something received from forensic lab.
Right.
He says, I'm a professional.
Okay.
You give me reasons for reaching this conclusion, then I will make my conclusion.
Okay.
So then after that, suddenly you rake up a case which was lodged against him about 10 years, 15 years back.
Now, Nalini, these are very serious points which are being made here.
you know,
But I must qualify. I must make this point very, very clear to all our viewers that these are all claims which are being made by Siddharth Mishra, who is representing Dr. Sudhir Gupta. And Dr. Sudhir Gupta is an individual who presently is in the Central Administrative Tribunal right now, where he is challenging the decision which has been taken by the All India Institute of Medical Sciences Board. Be that as it may, that's your claim. But Nalini Singh, I just want to read from this representation which has been given by Sudhir Gupta to the Central Administrative Tribunal. I want you to respond to this point that he makes. He says the said autopsy report, which is Sunanda Pushkar's report, was prepared by him as the report which was prepared by him was not as per the dictats of the director AIIMS, who had personally called the applicant and asked him to give clean chit in late Sunanda Pushkar matter. Now, as a viewer and as a citizen, I'm just wondering that if this indeed was the case in January 2014 itself, what was Dr. Gupta doing from January till May, June 2014? Does the story add up for you, Nalini?
Bhupendra, it does not in this respect, that the timing of Dr. Gupta's appeal or going public is quite suspect in my eyes. But today, you have described me as Sunanda Pushkar's best friend. I don't think that's true. It's just that whenever she was in trouble, somehow she called me. The other thing I'd like to say is that today we should have no innuendo and no pointing of fingers, because today, you know, we are in that position that we can say, well, maybe so-and-so is involved. I think it's pure facts today, which is important.
Absolutely. And I want only to be talking about facts on this.
Therefore, I would say that when we are talking about a disparity in two extremely important sequential reports, if the AIIMS is saying that the autopsy is saying that it was poisoning, and the forensic laboratory is saying there was no poisoning and no drug overdose, we should actually be alerted to something that has happened. The second thing that I'd like to say is that when you have a question of the death of a 49-year-old, you know, with great respect, with great humility and with great sensitivity, I'm saying this is not going to be our flight MH370. You know, one goes down, we don't recover from Sunanda Pushkar, we have this. So these are imponderables just now. All I can say is that if you ask me what happened on the night of 16th, 17th, whenever you ask me, I'll tell you about her phone call to me.
But the point is that there's a separate investigation which is still taking place. Now, neither you nor I are in a position in which we can have a comment on those investigations as well.
So did Sunanda Pushkar consume this enormous number of 27 tablets of Alprax? Did she or did she not?
Now there are two contrary reports on that.
AIIMS says that there was poisoning, and forensic says that there was no drug overdose. So
now, you know, I'm not a doctor, and nor are you a doctor. So sometimes when we're looking at all these medical reports and medical terminology, sometimes there is a possibility of us maybe getting a little bit confused. But Suhail said, I want to bring you in, and I want to bring you in on a specific point again, which is being made by Dr. Sudhir Gupta, because I think this entire story has been flagged off in a sense by the claims which are being made by Dr. Sudhir Gupta. Now, this is an email which Sudhir Gupta claims has been written by Dr. Shashi Tharoor, and this email, Suhail, was sent to the director of All India Institute of Medical Sciences. Now, effectively, this email is a medical report. This is a report which has been prepared by Dr. Rajiv Bhasin, who is an individual who had been examining Sunanda Tharoor for quite some time. Now, the claim being made here by Sudhir Gupta, Suhail, is that because Shashi Tharoor got hold of this report and forwarded it to AIIMS, it therefore implies that there was an attempt being made by Shashi Tharoor somehow to influence the overall report. Do you buy this? Do you really believe that this was something which is perhaps believable or perhaps was going on?
You know, I don't want to mince words. I don't think Dr. Gupta has a shred of credibility left in my mind. Because in January 2014, he sings one tune. After May 16, he sings another. So where the credibility of a human being is suspect, no matter how skillful he is, no matter how much of a genius he is, I'd worry about his word. Number one. Number two, if the forensic laboratory says it hasn't found the same reasons of death as Dr. Gupta has, and Dr. Gupta must bow to those forensic reports, then I think it's pretty clear that what Dr. Gupta has indulged in is a bit of, to my mind, scurrilous medical ethics. Because you can't have a position one day and another. To answer your specific question, let's imagine if I were the husband of Sunanda Tharoor. and I had a doctor who had been examining her and who was a general physician or whatever, I would obviously share the reports of that gentleman in all honesty.
Right.
I think Shashi Tharoor has done an honorable thing. You can't blame the guy for sharing a report. Imagine something happens to family X and you're the patriarch of the family. You will dig out all the reports from all professionals who've examined the particular patient and share them with someone else who's now examining the issues of death or fatality.
So are you suggesting
where's
there's a
the
motive here of
illogicality?
Dr. Gupta? Are you suggesting this is a motivated campaign of sorts which is being unleashed by Dr. Gupta?
No. Look, I'm not here for TRPs. I don't know if it's motivated or not. All I said is that the credibility of Dr. Gupta is suspect. A. B. I also believe the timing, as Nalini rightly said, is very suspicious.
Right.
And I have a bigger point to make, Bhupendra. And the bigger point is, the lady has gone. Between 17th and the 19th of January, there's been enough media attention.
Right.
You know, we as a civilized society must learn to respect people who've passed away and must also respect the grieving of families that exist today.
Okay,
To rake this up, to make this into a political battle, to my mind is silly. And then to call in a BJP, Congress, CPM, I think this is ridiculous.
No.
You know, we will become a nation of television trumpeters and nothing more, nothing less.
No, what has happened so ill is that everyone seems to have taken positions, which is why you do have Sudhanshu Mitra of the BJP who's been waiting for his turn, and I am going to come to you. But since Suhail said has made a specific charge in a sense against Dr. Gupta, and Siddharth Mishra, you representing Dr. Gupta, do you want to
No,
respond
I've
to
not
what
made any charge.
you're saying? He's devoid of credibility.
My English,
You're saying
my English is pretty clear.
Yes.
I'm pretty articulate.
Yes.
I have said I feel his credibility is suspect.
and therefore I must
feel.
let.
I haven't made a charge.
Okay.
I've made a
You
statement.
believe his credibility is suspect. Siddharth Mishra, would you respond to that?
I must, clarify on 2-3 points. Sudhir Gupta has not gone to public. Sudhir Gupta is fighting a battle within the system. Sudhir Gupta gave a statement in January after the postmortem examination, after which he has not met media, he has not addressed media. He is working within the system. Now within the system, if he is...
But the timing, sir, the question being raised...
The
question is of timing, from January to May.
I'll come to that.
I mean, surely, I'm just thinking about it. A doctor's job is to be honest to his patient and to be honest about facts. Now, if Dr. Gupta knew all this in the month of January, why did he not raise these facts earlier, sir? That's the point.
I must tell you, you must see the sequence of events. He went to court about 2 months back.
Yes.
He has not gone to court today. He went to court before May 16.
So what was he doing from January till May 16?
No, May 16.
April, whenever he decided from January till April.
He went to CAT only after within the system.
When he realized that he was not getting his promotion. So what if he had got his promotion?
He had got his promotion.
What if he had got his promotion? Would this story then have come out then?
He had got his promotion. He had been made this thing. Now an attempt was being made to remove him from that. And he fought his way. He represented within the system.
Right.
And when he was not heard, he went to court. And in the court, he got a stay from the court. Mind you, he has got a stay from the court against him.
Yes.
And after that, AIIMS has filed a reply.
But when he says, that I'm being targeted because I did not give a report as was being demanded of me about Sunanda Tharoor, that I did not give a report as was being demanded of me about Nido Tania, then of course question will be raised about the motive, sir.
The judge has... After that, judge gave him he filed a affidavit to...
Now, Nalini, I'm not sitting here as an investigator. I'm not going to pronounce any verdict here. But is this a fair point that I'm raising about the timing?
You said
about the timing of Dr. Gupta's outburst.
The timing has been set by court, and he has given a rejoinder to court.
I would say if Mr. Mishra is saying that the timing has been set by the court, let us say that this is an extraordinary coincidence that it has come at a time when the government has changed, when Dr. Gupta has been denied a post that he felt was his, etc. So there is, you cannot expect so many coincidences at the same time.
Madam, he went to court before the government change. He went to court before the government change.
I know, and the court has ruled now. I'm quite happy to, I'm quite willing to take this sequence of events.
But one second, Sudhanshu.
Can I say something, please?
One second, Sudhanshu. I'm just coming to you, sir.
Sudhanshu, I'm just finishing. I just want to say that today, let's not lose focus, that there are four ways in which she has passed away. We have to rule out this natural death. I think that is not so. Then there is accident, suicide or murder. So I think the last three are those that still sustain. But this natural death, there was cardiac seizure,
etc. Now, since you yourself have said that we must restrict ourselves to facts, therefore we will not get into the field of insinuation and speculation. Right. Sudhanshu Mittal, the specific point against you is that the BJP is very quick, to start behaving like Sherlock Holmes. I was reading the statement, sir, which has been made by Subramanian Swamy, your party leader. Sunanda Pushkar had said, and I'm quoting him, Sunanda Pushkar had said she would expose the IPL deals. Robert Vadra's name would have also surfaced. Now, when these kind of comments are made, I saw MJ Akbar, another spokesperson of yours today, suggesting there is a possibility of a larger conspiracy. How has the BJP come to all these conclusions, Mr. Mittal?
Upendra ji, first of all, what is the debate about? Is the debate about the conduct of Mr. Dr. Gupta, or is it the debate about the death of Sunanda Pushkar? In terms of the conclusion about her death,
the question is about your party's conduct,
there is a doctor
That's
who
the
says,
question. The question is about your party's conduct. Right now.
Just a minute. Just a minute, sir.
Yes.
Can I say something?
Yes.
I am raising a few points and then I'll come to the conduct of the party. To me, the issue is very simple. There was a doctor who examined, who did the autopsy, and at that point of time concluded that this is not a natural death, this is an unnatural death. And the viscera is sent for forensic examination. The report comes, he is asking that if this is your conclusion, what is the basis of your conclusion?
Right.
And then there are events. I'm not getting into the events. I do not want to insinuate that he was victimized or not victimized and this and that. The issue is, there is a death which has raised suspicions. There is a doctor who examined the body and concluded that this is not a natural death. There is a forensic report which says there was no poisoning. So it is a case of investigation. And that's all what is being sought to be
No, but
achieved.
you're missing the basic point.
I mean,
you're missing the basic point,
you're
Mr.
diverting
Mittal.
the attention from...
No. I'm afraid, sir, you're missing the basic point. The basic point is that Sudhir Gupta has come out at a time when he was denied his promotion, which is why this entire story has come out. Therefore, I'm asking you, what if Mr. Gupta, what if Dr. Sudhir Gupta would have got his promotion? Would the story then have come out?
Does that alter the truth?
No,
allow me.
Sir, you don't know and I don't know what the truth is. No, none of us are police investigators here.
Bhupenji, that's what we are saying. I am not even concluding. I am not saying this is a case of murder. I am not concluding. So for me, it is of no consequence at what time Mr. Gupta says what. Here is a bona fide doubt, and this should be investigated.
Okay.
That is all what is being sought to be done.
So you believe that it needs further investigations?
Let's not digress. Let's not deflect the entire.
Okay. You believe this needs further investigations? Okay.
The truth must. We are all interested in the truth.
Okay.
We are not interested in what is happening to Mr. Gupta or his appointment. We are not interested in anything.
Let me then put. Let me go to Meher Tharoor.
What is the truth?
Let me go to Meher Tharoor.
If the truth is it is a natural death, then it's a natural death.
Okay.
If it is not a natural death.
Okay, Meher Tharoor on the phone line with us from Lahore.
If it's not a natural death, then who's responsible?
Okay, Meher, you've been listening into this entire conversation. Now tell me, Meher, have you spoken to Shashi Tharoor since the death of Sunanda? And what exactly do you make out of this basic point, which is now being raised by Sudhanshu Mittal, that there is a needle of suspicion and we need further investigations? Where do you stand on that basic question, Meher?
Can you hear me?
Yes, Meher, go ahead.
Okay. One, this is a topic I have no inclination to comment on today or ever. But since unfortunately it has become inextricably connected to the story, I would just like to say a few things, even if they are not connected to the subject that is. First and foremost, I was not in touch with Dr. Shashi Tharoor the day Mr. Tharoor treated to me, or even before that, and we have not been in touch for the last 6 months, ever since it happened. So whatever I say about him, regarding him, or about this case, or about whatever is happening, simply comes from now there's this concern about AIIMS. I'm being dragged into things every day. There's some headlines today. Guy has tweeted that I was trying to take Shashi Tharoor away last summer. If we're talking about the story.
Okay, Meher, may I just ask you to hold on, because I think that there is a problem with the audio line, Meher. I'm just going to ask my producers to disconnect the line and we'll get you back on the phone line, because I want you to give us your comment on that one in terms of where do you stand on that basic demand which is being raised by Sudhanshu Mittal. So he'll say, where do you stand on that one? Do you believe that this requires further probe as is being suggested?
I think it's a fair point by Sudhanshu. I made the point earlier in my remarks that rather than conjecture through television studio debates, there is obviously a character issue in my mind on Gupta. There is also an issue with how competent our forensic laboratories are. I mean, if in a simple case like this, if these guys have contrarian positions or are suppressing their consciences respectively, it says a lot about our criminal investigation system.
Absolutely.
I mean, that in itself is shameful.
Absolutely.
So, you know, I'm not worried about Sunanda Pushkar. I'm worried about how can I trust the All India Institute of Medical Sciences and the Central Forensic Scientific Laboratory of India to solve any goddamn murder case or any goddamn case of death or any goddamn case of unnatural or natural death. I mean, if these guys are willing to alter reports, doctor their positions based on whether they get a promotion, whether they're in some goddamn central administrative tribunal, I worry for India. And I worry for the medical ethics that some of these gentlemen actually follow. It is not the Hippocratic oath, it is the hypocrite oath that I'm actually seeing unfurl. And so that's what I'm actually worried about.
Right, and therefore the question...
Sudhanshu is right.
Okay.
You need closure. But even Shashi Tharoor has said that.
Right.
Shashi, in a statement today which I saw on your channel, has said that I would like to cooperate with investigating agencies and put this to closure. Look here, whether it is Shashi Tharoor or person X or Y, everyone wants these things put behind them. They want closure.
Right.
They don't want this thing, you know, gnawing at them. So, you know, let's come to some closure. Obviously, Gupta can't be trusted, neither can the CFSL. So I don't know where we should go. Perhaps, you know, go to Fiji or something like that.
Okay. You know, Nalini, to be fair, the fact is that even during the Lok Sabha elections, this entire case of Sunanda Tharoor's death had become a political issue. Shashi Tharoor was accused by the CPM and there were posters which had come up in Kerala. And Dr. Tharoor since then has taken this position that, listen, investigations are on and I'm willing to cooperate. And he has been cooperating by all logical accounts. But the point being made here by Sudhir Gupta is that he could not muster the courage to give this sequence of events because he was worried of the clout of the then health minister, Dr. Ghulam Nabi Azad.
Yeah, but I think Dr. Sudhir Gupta might try to recall if he did not say that it was death, sudden death due to poisoning, which is what, as I recall, the SDM, the sub-divisional magistrate, who had come to talk to me about what, what had transpired that night on the phone call.
Right.
I think this is what he told me,
right,
that actually it is, I have accepted sudden death due to poisoning. And that statement was made by Dr. Sudhir Gupta.
Right.
So I would say that actually by Dr. Gupta, it took the right course because the SDM, as long as he was handling this, he came out in public and said sudden death due to poisoning, coming from Dr. Sudhir Gupta, so he accepted the AIIMS version.
Right.
What happened later is of greater worry than what Sohail Seth says about our forensic and other laboratories. Is that it was taken by the Delhi police. The Delhi police allegedly gave it to the crime branch.
Right.
The crime branch apparently gave it back to the Delhi police.
Right.
So there the file sits.
You believe that's where the story really seems to have changed, and that's where some new questions have cropped up.
Do you know, I think that if you're talking, if at all, and I said no innuendo, but if at all we know our system, there's going to be pressure. There will be internal intra-AIIMS pressure at the AIIMS, and I don't know about that. But you and I are familiar with the pressures on the police, the crime branch, etc. So I think the story should also be investigated.
Okay.
How come that today we are in July, the death of a 49-year-old bright, vivacious woman takes place in mid-January, and today we still are saying that...
May I just go back to Meher Tara, because Meher is back on the phone line, and hopefully this time the phone line is better. Meher, I'm assuming that you can hear me loud and clear. Just wanted you to come in on the points which are being made by all our panelists here, that this is, some of them at least believe that this is a case which requires further investigations. Do you believe the last has not been said yet on the death of Sunanda?
As I said, I would like to say a few things.
Go ahead.
I have not been in touch with Mr. Tharoor since this happened, or even before that.
Right.
So it has nothing to do with how what I say is going to affect him. I don't know what's happening in his life, and it doesn't really concern me to the extent that I would want to say something to affect whatever is being said about him. But incidentally, everything that is said about this case in another country about a woman I had never even seen. So it affects me directly. When one of your BJP politicians come on Twitter and ask that 2 people should be arrested, and then her. So who's this her if he's not talking about me? So I will be arrested for the investigation of a death of a woman I've never even met in another country. So I mean, Other than that, I don't know. I mean, I've got nothing to lose or gain here as far as Mr. Tharoor is concerned. But I am very confused about a few things.
Like?
I want to ask through your media a few questions. I want to ask your media a few questions, starting from the beginning. I mean, why a very high-profile couple embroiled in a very public controversy would exacerbate things further instead of letting it cool down by, fighting more or, as the insinuation go that maybe there was, there was some violence or something and so on and so forth and the worst possible scenario that, she was killed. Okay, then, and two, why the assumption that there has been no police inquiry? I'm not in touch with Mr. Tharoor, but I am in touch with people around him.
Yes.
And people who are friends with people who are
Which
friends
is why
with
I wanted you to come on the program tonight.
Yes, I have been told that there has been a police probe that has been going on constantly since January 17th, and no clean chit has been given to Mr. Tharoor. So why is this thing mentioned in your media every second day that he should be investigated? Since he is being investigated,
now may I just ask you to hold on? Yeah, hold on for a second, because Nalini Singh has a precise question to the point which is being made by Nalini. Go ahead.
Yeah. Ms. Meher Tharoor, you are saying that you actually knew almost nothing about how sensitively Sunanda Tharoor was taking your friendship with Shashi Tharoor.
How would I have known?
May I just finish?
Know her. No, since I don't know her, how would I have known the telepathy?
Sunanda Tharoor was an extremely public person.
Exactly.
And also,
so incidentally, I was not. And that is something people have very conveniently forgotten. Just because I knew somebody virtually and just because his spouse decided to go on air and go on Twitter and decide to talk about me, it had given it the entire 1.25 population of India to keep saying things, including you, your statement today, which has been retweeted and which is going viral on social media, even though I've stopped tweeting for the last few days, that Shashi Tharoor, she feared that Shashi Tharoor would be taken away from him by Meher Tharoor.
No, let's come back. Let's come back to the facts. Let's come back to the facts.
I just want to tell you.
How would I know what was happening in the lives of two people, one of whom I had never met and the other I had met last summer? How would I know what was happening in their lives? Please tell me about that. How would I know?
Okay, Nalini is responding quickly, then I want to move on because I don't want this to be a personal issue now.
Sure. I just want to say, Meher Tharoor, that in the last call that she made to me, it was all about yourself. And it was how distressed and aggravated she was. I just want to point it out to you gently. But I also want to tell you, it's not possible
that when she tweeted to me,
I
was not even in touch with Mr. Tharoor.
Okay, now we must let's not make this personal.
Should I say it on oath?
Mayor, just hold on.
Say it on oath that the last time I met this person was last summer in a public place in front of hundreds of people. And
okay, but I just want to come back to the case. I just want to come back to what's happening right now. You're not being accused. Listen. I was only asking you a simple question.
I want to ask a few more questions.
I was only asking you a simple question, but please no personal questions. I don't want this to be a personal issue now. I'm only trying to figure out whether there is something more to the story that we do not know. That's all, Meher. That's all. I don't want this to be any personal issue.
Why the assumption that the husband would harm the wife amidst media glare, a person? I don't know Mr. Tharoor. Mr. Suhail said does. I have seen that, seen his Twitter timeline. I know he's very good friends with the couple. Please ask him, a person who's not known to have any history of verbal or any other kind of violence would decide to harm his wife while they're holed up in a hotel trying to figure out how to get out of the mess they had got themselves in. And I want to ask, they got married in 2010, if I'm not, so it's not that it was an old marriage.
Okay.
Why did his stepson and her two brothers and her father decide this was Mr. Tharoor's third marriage, why did they decide they didn't even have any children, so why did they think it was okay to just forgive the man for every alleged bad thing that he had done to their daughter and sister and mother.
Okay,
and
now,
just go on
you
with
made
their
your
life.
point.
Please,
Right. Mayor, now you
yes.
made your point. Now you made your point. Now let me come back to the facts of the case. And I was looking at what has happened today. I was looking at the comments which have been made in light of this affidavit, this representation which has been given before the Central Administrative Tribunal, the point which has been taken, the stand which has been taken by the BJP, and Sudhanshu Mittal, therefore, just taking off from all the points which are being made there by Maher Tharoor. Isn't the BJP somewhere looking to fish in troubled waters here? Are you really trying to create a conspiracy here, Sudhanshu Mittal?
Bhupender, when the man who conducted the autopsy says, I have been pressurized by the then health minister and the then minister whose wife had expired, should this be taken lightly and should this not create concern in all of us that we need to find out the truth?
Right.
If this is what you call fishing in troubled waters, then I think we should all fish in troubled waters.
I'm only asking
Because
you, sir. I'm
these are
only
serious
asking you because the BJP
Let's
has been
not be
pretty quick.
dismissive. Just 1 minute.
The BJP
Just
is very quick, sir, to
just
jump
minute.
into this. That's my
Just
question.
1 minute. We must not take predetermined positions
Sure.
of dismissing if we are on this side and alleging if we are on that side.
And hopefully you're admitting the fact.
Objectively,
Hopefully you're also admitting
there
that.
is a very serious allegation.
Sir,
against,
hopefully you're also admitting that you're not accepting everything that's
Yeah, I'm
being
saying
thrown up.
against-
and
against
that's
Ghulam
why I
Nabi
quoted,
Azadji and
that's why I
Shashi
quoted before you what
Tharoor
Subramanian
ji,
Swamy
they are
had
very
said, sir.
serious allegation.
So you believe that there should be an investigation on that front. Now,
So in light of the serious allegation, there are observations which have been made.
Now, Siddharth
But what is
Mishra,
more important?
my point is, Siddharth Mishra, is there
that
any
the way
proof?
the investigation has gone on,
Yes.
it has not evoked any confidence in people, and I think this needs to be investigated very, very seriously.
This point which
That's
is now
all.
being
I
made
don't
both
want to
by
take a
Sudhanshu
position.
Mittal
I
and
would
Suhail
rather only
Seth
want
is
that the
about
truth is discovered.
what Dr. Sudhir Gupta has also spoken about in his representation, which is this possible pressure which was being put on him by Ghulam Nabi Azad. Now, I've gone through this affidavit which he's presented before the Central Administrative Tribunal. I've gone through all the annexures. I've spoken to most people who've been associated with the investigations. I haven't found out any evidence so far. I haven't found out any proof. Is there any proof that Ghulam Nabi Azad really was influencing investigations?
The people here have been raising fingers on Sudhir. I want to raise a very simple question. In 2012, Sudhir, by a full board of the All India Institute of Medical Sciences, headed by the health minister, and everybody finds him to be very bright and very good for the job, and is promoted for the 5th time in his 20 years career, and made professor and head of the department at a very young age for the work that he has done. And then in January 2014, this case happens, and the controversy starts. And suddenly in April, somebody who was ignored at that point of time for indiscretions, for wrongdoings in his career, is suddenly all charges against him are withdrawn, and he is sought to be promoted and made head of the department. Now, doesn't this call for an investigation?
Now, what kind of investigation are we looking at in conclusion?
Absolutely.
Nalini? What kind of investigation?
Why?
Do we want a CBI probe now into this one?
Absolutely.
Now?
Why?
Is that the demand? Is that the demand by Sudhir Gupta?
Absolutely. The point is what I'm trying to tell you, that why all of a sudden somebody who was found so good by a full board, all of a sudden you're trying to upstage him by bringing in somebody who was registered by a full board.
What
Number one.
Dr. Gupta is saying, Nalini?
Number two, which I'm trying to make the point.
Quickly, sir, quickly, because I'm running out of time.
Which I'm trying to make to you, that the complaint against him, why is being made to do, is that he has shared post-mortem report with media.
Right.
You all were there, we all were there, and the AIIMS spokesperson was there, the lady head of the media department was there.
Well, let me say that the All India Institute of Medical Sciences also said that there is some vigilance inquiry. There is some internal departmental inquiry which is on against Dr. Gupta.
There is no vigilance inquiry. There is one case of plagiarism which always raises his head whenever he is.
There is no vigilance inquiry otherwise.
Nothing.
Nalini,
Therefore, here is a statement by DMC, Delhi Medical Council, which has said that where he is supposed to have plagiarized a paper, he never presented a paper at that conference.
Mayor Tharoor wants to make a quick point and then Nalini is responding. Mayor, you want to come in to what Siddharth Mishra is saying?
No, I don't really know about the Delhi politics of medicine and politicians, but if I have read correctly, the doctor said that despite the so-called pressure that was put on him, He stuck to his ethics, medical ethics, and he came up with the accurate report. So what's the issue here?
Okay. Nalini
I
Singh,
would just say, you asked
are
me
we,
a question.
are we headed for a CBI probe on this one? Is that where this is?
I don't think so. I don't think we need it.
Taken?
I think that the process that was going to be followed, that is the crime branch to investigate. Are we going to say that the crime branch has lost credibility to this extent?
I think Nalini sometime back said that something happened between the Delhi police and the crime branch, and then who's going to arbitrate on that?
But let us say that there is a new home minister, that there is a new dispensation, that there is new focus on this.
Right.
So why should we just keep believing the CBI is going to do a better job? I think let the crime branch do it. If it's not fair, then we will definitely ask for this. But we have to get to the truth.
Right.
This
So
we
we have to get to the truth. I say, how do we get to this truth? Because every version which is being offered is being countered by the other side.
Can I tell you, it is sad that in India we attribute motives to a new regime. You know, for us to even suggest that BJP is on a witch hunt is a stupid thing. I'm sure they're more concerned with greater issues. I think
But look at the statement. Why, sir? But look at the statement.
You know, I haven't interrupted.
No, I'm just saying.
I
agree, Suhail. But I'm just saying that you're questioning why is the BJP being questioned. I'm just saying that the BJP is being questioned because of the comments which are being made by the BJP. So that's all.
So absolutely. So my earlier point is that personally, as an outsider, I believe that Dr. Gupta has done himself great disservice by showing postponed courage.
Okay.
If he was courageous, on the day there was a phone call from Ghulam Nabi Azad, he should have gone to the courts and he should have gone to the media.
Right.
You know, Mr. Mishra, I'm not interrupting you.
Go ahead,
so I would suggest that we maintain certain decorum.
Mr. Seth, you are stating a wrong fact. He went to court much before the poll results came out.
Okay, Suhail,
I'm not talking about the poll results.
So,
only if you care to listen and understand the English I'm speaking.
Yes.
I'm saying on the day Ghulam Nabi Azad is alleged to have phoned him, this doctor should have gone to the courts and gone to the media, saying the current health minister is forcing me.
Right.
But he didn't have the courage then. He's had the courage later, which is fine.
Right.
Sometimes you get wings later.
Okay.
My final point is that someone has passed away. And it is a sad summary of the state of affairs of our country that we can't even get to know how, why and what happened.
Sudhanshu Mittal, will I continue seeing the BJP being very aggressive with its demand for getting to the truth on this one?
Dr. Gupta has not gone to media.
Right.
He has gone to court. He has submitted affidavit in the court.
You made your
May I just say, when I talk about the new dispensation, I'm only saying more efficient.
Right.
We are hoping that
Sudhanshu, final point. Yeah, Sudhanshu is having the last word on this one.
See, to me, better late than never. At any point, if the truth comes out, that is what is critical to us. There are serious allegations, there are serious discrepancies, there are serious doubts. So the truth must come out. And the investigating agency, whichever the agency, it's of no consequence to me. The investigating agency has to come out with the truth. It's been far too long. This happened in January. We are today sitting in June end. I think, and as I said, the allegations are very, very serious. So we cannot, nobody should be hoodwinked. No carpet dressing should be there. The truth must come out.
I think the fair
let's
point.
Not politicize.
The only conclusion.
Let's not say this man is making this statement. This man is making.
But Mr. Mittal, you know, I like the way you say that let's not politicize it. I like the way you say let's not politicize it because that's exactly what your party does, and that's exactly what your party spokespersons do when they start looking for motives and when they start giving some kind of reasoning for why Sunanda Tharoor could well, according to the BJP or some leaders of the BJP, could well have been murdered. But thank you all of you for joining me on this edition of India Time. Thanks to Mehtarar also.
Thank you.
Right. Thank you. I've run out of time, Sudhanshu Mittal. I know that this is a debate which can continue being extended, but ultimately the bottom line is just this. In conclusion, maybe this demand for an impartial probe in this story, it is a genuine one because ultimately we do need to find out the truth. The only thing that should not happen is that there should not be any character assassination going on in this guise of seeking a probe into this particular case.